The all-new Toyota RAV4 asks, what if? What if your ride was refined and rugged at the same time? Introducing the all-new RAV4 Hybrid. 208 combined horsepower and standard all-wheel drive make it the most powerful RAV4. Plus, with its head-turning style and breakaway speed, it's bound to change the way you think of a hybrid. The all-new RAV4 Hybrid. Toyota. Let's go places. Horsepower. Ratings achieved using the required premium unleaded gasoline with an octane rating of 91 or higher. Premium fuel is not used. Performance will decrease.
Hello, Wildcats. It's your boy Kev, just coming on over to hang out with you like Sinbad in the movie House Guest. And we're just here to let you know that this is a little disclaimer, and we are a comedy and crime podcast. So even though we cover many serious cases and true events, we do like to throw in some dark humor and inappropriate jokes every now and then. So if you're not a fan of comedy and crime mixing together and a little bit of offensive material, you're probably not going to like this podcast. And if you've ever seen the movie Battlefield Earth and you do enjoy it, then I don't want you listening to the podcast because that movie fucking sucks. But anyways, I hope everyone has a wonderful 2019. I hope it's off to a good start. And just want to say thank you to everyone that's listening and giving us a chance. So have a good day, be good, stay safe, and laugh at the dark stuff. Theo Huxtable, you still a good kid, boy. Hashtag Wildman.
All right, fellas, like we practiced.
Yeah. 2, 3, 4.
Come on down, hanging with the brothers tonight, yeah. Come on down to the Brotherscommon.place tonight.
Alrighty, welcome everyone to the Brotherscommon.place, a comedy and crime podcast where we cover monsters, murders, mysteries, and more. Oh yeah, and before we jump into today's topic, which is just extra spooky today, I want you all to meet some pretty nice boys.
What's going on, guys? This is Tim, or Molly Ringworm, as they called me after my doctor's appointment.
What's up, guys? It's Siege. Back again. It's been a while.
Yes.
How's it going?
Fuck yeah.
Oh, so turned on.
Fuck yeah. This is a special day. What up, everybody? This is Spence. I didn't think of an intro today other than, they call me the real blue light district.
Oh,
I like that.
And coming at you quicker than a shotgun at the front door at Ray Finkel's house, it's your boy Kev, a.k.a. the Dirty Dog.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
And now, it is no accident that our very first episode of 2019 not only features our boy Siege.
Oh, yes.
It is also episode number 69. So we want everyone listening to just be extra horny for us this episode.
Yeah, I mean, you already are that Siege is on here, but yeah, absolutely.
69, dudes.
And while everyone is listening, I want you to send us a tweet or an email or a message. Just let us know on a scale from 1 to Eddie Winslow getting revenge on the Dragons. Just how horny are you right now?
Oh, man. I hope we get a lot of Eddies.
So yeah, we are starting off with a request. We'll probably do a couple request episodes to start off the year. So alrighty, I hope to God that all of our listeners are ready for this one. And I hope that you brought your steaks, your garlic, and I hope you got that holy water ready. For today, you're about to dive in deep with your favorite boys as we discuss the Highgate Vampire.
Oh, shit, it was a Highgate?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I thought it was a high gay vampire, and I thought it was that time when me and Andrew smoked weed and gave each other hickeys.
No, it is in fact the Highgate Vampire. Not to be confused with the Super Highgate Vampire, but that's just former wrestling legend Vampiro.
Go. The name is Vampiro. Go. Vampiro, child of the rancid, wretched darkness. Vampiro. I truly am a juggalotus, maniac killer, super unknown hero. Vampiro. Yeah.
Whoops, I researched the wrong thing. I just watched that video of me and Andrew.
That's all right, man. I didn't bring steaks, garlic, or holy water. I just brought like a fucking sirloin, some garlic bread, and
shit.
Fucking beer.
All right. Well, thanks for bringing that.
Just the water, so we got the cores. So that's good.
Coors is definitely unholy water.
And I do want to bring up that last week, our very own Tim Primo did make a joke about Mean Gene Okerlund.
I did. And it wasn't even like one against him either.
No.
Yeah.
And it is sad to know that he did indeed pass away. So rest in peace, Mean Gene Okerlund.
Oh, yeah, I love Mean Gene. There's no joke there.
He's a legend.
Yeah, he was. He was an awesome guy.
And if
Rest in peace.
And if it is true that if we do have that power, like if we make a joke about someone and then they end up dying a week later, we make a pact right now that none of us make any jokes about the only remaining member of LFO.
Once
because
again.
that motherfucker does not deserve any more bad
There's
luck.
only one left.
And I swear to God, if he dies, he takes a podcast with him and we quit.
I mean, okay, yeah. I mean, we already said last week that if we got a 5-star review and they asked us to quit, we would quit.
We didn't get any, we got 1 5-star, then we got 2 negative ones.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So I do want to say thank you to everyone that has left us an iTunes review. It does help us out a lot. Maybe some positive ones this week.
Yeah,
That'd be
you
nice.
fucking
You
bitches.
uppity bitches.
Jesus.
You pricks. I know it was you, Dad.
With his many accounts. We also need to ratchet up on the Amy Schumer jokes,
Oh,
apparently.
yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
Because, then she'll die next week.
And we did crack one in our Patreon little thing. It was about the
Oh, we
elephant
did.
gun from
yeah,
Tremors.
so, yeah, we did.
And Spence killing his grandfather's pet spider.
We
Sorry.
could just register as hitmen, like on the dark net,
We should.
and just podcast about people and kill them.
We should, dude.
Yeah.
Can't be any worse at that than we are at this podcast.
Dude, I mean, honestly, with enough 5-star reviews, Toof would probably do it.
It's like men who stare at goats, but we actually have a good track record.
So, alrighty, today's story will be taking us to London, England.
London, England.
Yes, he said exactly, London, England, from Wayne's World.
Good stuff.
To be more exact, though, we will be traveling to the Highgate Cemetery in North London, England, and back to the 1970s.
Ooh, shit.
And I highly recommend that you Google this cemetery to take a look at it. It's fucking badass. It's super rad. It has a very gothic look to it, and I would love to visit it and maybe listen to some Dark Lotus and drink Faygo and bang
fuck
some
yeah.
beautiful 3 out of 10s there.
I was just going to say, it sounds like a place where you might find Richmond.
Oh, yeah.
I
is that
hope
from-
you weren't including me in
Yeah, if I take out. I was going to say, it's so gothic, they actually just put in a hot topic there.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I can see the outline of your skull.
So now we got some fun details on the Highgate Cemetery. It was established in 1839, and it was part of a bill passed by Parliament in 1832 that encouraged the establishment of private cemeteries in and around London. And those cemeteries would be known as the Magnificent Seven. Yeah, it's pretty cool. They
Yeah,
got
that's
like
pretty
these badass cemeteries. I actually have a Magnificent Seven myself.
Yeah.
Well, that's not exactly what it's called. Like the word around the ladies' campus is that it's more like a Magnificent 7 minus 4. But it's all right.
And they just changed to the Magnificent Kevin.
Oh.
Fuck yeah.
And then, I mean, my mom has that tattoo. Just throwing that out there.
It keeps washing off though. It's like one of those ones you get at the beach that lasts for a week, but she gets it like every 8 days.
She keeps getting. I mean, she doesn't want to get the pain. You know, she's like, I mean, I don't like him that much, but likes him enough for a fake tattoo.
Totally. I mean, they passed a similar bill around here in Ohio, but those just ended up being known as the Ridiculous Six.
Ooh, and some more cool info about the Highgate Cemetery. It is actually the cemetery that is used in a few British horror films, such as Taste the Blood of Dracula, also Tales from the Crypt, and
Fuck yeah, I love Tales from the Crypt.
From Beyond the Grave.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's pretty badass.
Yeah.
And there's some famous people. There's actually a decent amount of famous people buried here. 2 that we will mention. 1, Karl Marx,
Okay. Yeah.
which... No
That's
offense to all of our listeners, but I'm going to assume you think I'm talking about Richard Marx.
No, I mean, great singer, but Karl Marx is the. Fuck, I know.
He's a long way from home if he's buried in London.
He's a Marxist,
Yeah.
communist person.
He's the Marxist.
He's like yeah, exactly. And also George Michael.
What?
Wait,
Fuck
what?
yeah,
Wait, George
dude.
Michael's married there?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
After the incident with the banana stand?
There's always money in the banana stand. Because I gotta have faith. Dude, George Michael's the shit, dude.
Oh, that bit about him in, what was it? What was that? It was like the Key and Peele movie. Keanu.
Keanu, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
That was a good movie.
They taught the gangsters about George Michael.
Yeah.
Got them into it.
What about Andy Bernard doing that?
So good. You better do Faith.
And also, this cemetery, it is fucking huge. It's 37 acres. It has around 170,000 people buried there, and they're buried in approximately 53,000 graves.
Damn.
So it sounds like they ran out of room pretty early and just started to like fucking Jenga the bodies on top of each other or something. I mean, there's a lot of fucking bodies here.
That'd be a fun game of Jenga, though.
Oh, yeah.
Like imagine the last person that puts a body on, and then they all fall. That just sounds like a good
Everyone
time.
cheers. Yeah, we won.
Yeah, fuck you guys.
Now here's a little bit of official history according to their website. Highgate Cemetery opened in 1839, and it was run by a private company. But when in the 1970s they found that it was no longer profitable to run commercially, nature took over and vandals had their day. And today we are going to be covering the events and details on what happened in the 1970s.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so it used to be, it's a pretty awesome place, and then it's like they had way too many bodies, kept running out of room, and then people just started flocking to this place, and yeah, it turned to shit.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to visit the cemetery today, the cemetery is a private cemetery and it's not open to the public. However, it is maintained by a group called the Friends of Highgate Cemetery Trust. So you can go there, but they do charge an entry fee that covers like the tours and expenses so that they can keep up with maintenance of it. And the cemetery is split into two parts. There's an east and west. And the west cemetery is accessible by ticketed guide tour only. And they said that's for like safety reasons. And this part is pulled just straight from the wiki. And it's on Saturday and Sunday afternoons. And then you have to like book ahead of time for the actual weekdays.
Now, do they do like awesome stuff like around Halloween for it?
That'd be awesome, dude.
Yeah, that'd be like super cool if they did like haunted things or something.
Hopefully.
Yeah, you would think so. If not, they're missing out on some money.
This should probably be deleted, actually. But it reminds me of in the new Louis C.K. bit that's causing all the controversy, apparently, when he says, do you think the people who were at Auschwitz thought, like, hey, one day they're going to sell tickets to this place?
Yeah, dude, no, that's so fucking good. Yeah. That's so true, because, yeah, you can buy tickets to go there now, and that's fucking hilarious.
Dude, CJ, maybe you remember, who was the NBA dude who took a selfie there, and he's like, sorry, LOL, I had to.
I have no clue.
Fuck, who was it?
At Auschwitz?
No, well, it was at a Holocaust memorial. I don't know if it was actually there or somewhere else. It was Danny Green, I think.
Oh, fuck yes, dude. That's awesome. I was going to say, can we pretend it was Carmelo?
I love Danny Green. I like the 3-and-D, but for that Holocaust thing, like, you're just a fucking dipshit for that. Come on, man. You gotta
could
know.
have phrased it so many
I mean,
better ways.
I do kind of respect him for it, but yeah, I mean, what, like, kind of like a dumb thing to do. Especially when, you have a lot of people watching you.
And then as far as the East Cemetery goes, that one you can buy a ticket and you get a map, and I think you can go on your own possibly, but I think the West one you have to actually have someone taking you through.
The East side is run by Asians, so if you just bow, they'll let you in.
Oh, cool. Well, I mean, Kev can use them for free. That's
yeah,
cool.
dude. I usually just backflip over the gate anyways.
That's what you did in that fucking diving place, too.
The East is actually just an elaborate construction of traps to like prove your honor. You have to like play chess on like a giant life-size chessboard.
Oh my god, like Harry Potter too. Fuck yeah. I think at the end you fight Goro.
Oh yeah, dude. I think you do. But it's us four instead of fight him. He just jerks us all off.
It's been playing all along.
So this cemetery, it has had ghostly sightings for many years. And we're going to first start at 1963, which is 120 or so years after the cemetery first opened. Now, many reports and sightings, they're not like exact, like they vary and then they're pretty different. Like some sightings say like, oh, I see a man in a hat, or like a white ghostly lady, or a phantom cyclist, or a paddling figure in a pond, or a woman pushed over in the dark, and noises such as bells and voices. I think that was from the unredacted.com possibly, because that's where I got a lot of this information. They have like a lot of newspaper clippings and a bunch of stuff.
Absolutely.
But yeah, as far as like the ghostly things, those are the ones that they saw up leading up.
Both on the east and west side?
Yes, I believe so. And there's a road we'll talk about where some say that they saw this ghostly figure run through the road like into the wall. Swain's Lane is what it's called, actually.
Oh, hell yeah. I hear like fuck, it was literally just gonna be a Crips and Bloods joke. I had no idea how to quote it, or how to do it anyway. It was gonna be the East for the Bloods and the West for the Crips.
That's good. That's
so dumb.
Oh, dude, I forgot to do this. I know it's way out of order. My intro, I was working on it for like 2 days, and I couldn't find out how to make it like coherent and make it like flow. But it was gonna be that I was gonna lie about it being sponsored by 23andMe. And then when you guys are like, oh, that's cool. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not like the DNA and genealogy and all that cool stuff. And then the punchline was going to be that 23andMe was just what your mom calls Saturday night. But I couldn't think of how to make it flow or make it a good joke.
Oh, yeah.
So
I already like that.
So that one goes to the graveyard, the joke graveyard.
No, I love it already.
So the cemetery, it's already pretty creepy and scary enough as it is, but now they're throwing in ghosts and specter sightings, and things start to get a little Castevania up in here.
Ooh, I love Castevania.
And then I was going to make a joke where I say, yeah, Tooth, play that riff. Then I was just going to play a clip of someone else playing a Castevania song, but he's not here.
Tooth.
So CJ, play that shit. All right.
You gotta play, dude. CJ, that was good.
That was fucking good. You never play Castlevanias?
It's just like a hack and slash shooter.
They're like a side scroll.
They're awesome,
dude. I got like the first 3 for NES. They're so fucking
dude,
good.
They were hard, but they were good.
They're fucking. The third one's so hard.
CJ, you played that riff as good as Kevin Durant did saving that ball.
Dude, did you see how fucking far out of bounds he was? That ref deserves fired.
I was watching it.
So already on to the night. This night in 1963, which strangely and coincidentally was a lot like this night.
Oh, fuck.
What?
We're dead.
When you go back that far in time, I just measure dates according to like where they stand compared to when the movie The Graduate came out. And this sounds like it was before, I think.
I like it. That's how you measure it, but we're not sure when it came out.
This is 5 years BG.
I dreamed I was stuck in TGIF limbo with the father from The Graduate.
So here we go. One night in 1963, there was a couple, and they were walking home, and they were walking down Swains Lane, which was the road that goes straight through the Highgate Cemetery. Like, it separates the east and west of the cemetery.
Yeah, go the long way. That's already your biggest mistake.
And on either side of the road, there are high walls that they border the cemetery. So it's like high walls. I don't know how high they are. They look super tall, like 8 to 10 feet. That's how tall they looked in the picture I saw.
Yeah.
So this couple, they're walking down Swains Lane, and I believe they're heading past the North Gate. And this is when they would come face to face with what would later be known as the Highgate Vampire.
Ooh.
They saw a dark, tall figure that was flying or floating from behind the wall. And they said that its face was just absolutely terrifying and scary as shit. Quote, a ghoulish nightmare contorted in horror.
No, they said that?
I think that's how it's been described. I don't know if that was the couple's exact words, but from some of the different sightings, a lot of people claim to see the same thing.
Yeah,
and that's how it was described.
Gosh, I feel like that's just somebody's description of them saying, yeah, that was scary as fuck, dude.
It was scary as fuck.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, it's ghoulish and covered in horror.
I'm not going out. There's too many ghouls out
that
there
shit was so good.
And then soon after this incident, many other sightings would soon follow. And most of these sightings spoke of the same thing, a tall, dark figure that was sliding or floating over the wall and railings of the cemetery, the Highgate Vampire.
Dude, that is scary. You know, last night, for the first time, I tried playing Skyrim as a vampire lord.
Was it as underwhelming as being a werewolf?
It was better than being a werewolf.
Oh.
Yes.
It's not fun, is it?
I don't know what all the keys are, like all the key combinations yet to do things.
Yeah.
But it's not as good as regular being a person.
And not Skyrim. What was the other?
Oblivion?
Oblivion.
Oh, yeah.
I was staying at an inn and got bitten by a vampire. And
Yeah.
So I turned into one, but I couldn't go get the cure because every time I'd exit the inn, it was daytime. And it auto-saved
Oh, shit,
over my
dude.
save.
Jesus.
So every time you'd exit, you'd take damage and die.
What'd you have to do?
Oh, fuck.
You're just screwed.
In Skyrim, you just your stamina doesn't regenerate when you're a vampire. You don't take damage.
I remember playing for like so long and not knowing that I had it. And then I remember it would just say like you feel. I can't remember what it says when it pops up. I'm like, when the fuck did I come fight a vampire? But
Dude, I wish it was like the Freddy's Coming thing from the Nightmare on Elm Street video game.
oh,
from
that was
Nintendo.
scary, dude.
Yeah, it was.
I loved in the Freddy video game, you look like Slater.
Yeah, dude, you really did too.
Dude, you could play 4 players on that NES game.
Yeah.
That was like one of the only ones I remember.
Yeah,
you
it
could
was an
play.
awesome game. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I know. I mean, I definitely know I at least played 2-player, but I'm pretty sure I played more than that when I was younger, even.
So this Highgate Vampire, this vampire or humanoid figure that people are seeing, it is said to be anywhere from 6 to 8 feet tall. Some people also report that they saw him wearing a top hat. And I added this next part in, possibly carrying a Les Paul and cranking out emotional electric guitar solos that bring a tear to your eye.
Hell yeah, Slash.
It was Slash all along.
Fuck yeah, it was.
And now, Tim, we jump to your favorite year, 1969.
Oh, man.
In episode 69.
Episode 69. And now we enter one of our main characters, David Ferrant. He was a young Wicca enthusiast and was a member of the British Psychic and Occult Society, a.k.a. the only person pulling less trim than all of us.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. I'm pulling none, so I mean, you're pulling negative, buddy.
And this dude just looks fucking beat. Like, he reminds me of, like, fucking Igor from Young Frankenstein. And, like, I wish I would have never looked him up, because while I was researching this, I pictured him as Mystery from the Pickup Artists. And I was, like, getting ready to make jokes about him, like, going into the cemetery, and he's, like, negging the corpses and shit. Like, he just walks into one of the mausoleums, like, hey, did you guys see that fight outside?
I don't know, man. If he's a Wiccan, he's probably picking up all those witches.
Oh, it's
hell
true,
yeah, he
man.
is.
It's true.
But yeah, this dude, he just looks fucking beat and looks like Igor. And Igor, Igor looks like 24/7. There's like a UFO above him, like tractor beam, just trying to suck out his eyeballs. So that's a scary looking fucking dude.
Absolutely.
And now when the newspapers, they started to publish all these sightings, thousands of people would actually like come to the cemetery hoping to like catch a glimpse of this vampire or ghost or specter. And at that time, the Western Cemetery, it's already being vandalized and it's looking pretty beat. Like graves and tombs are like overgrown with weeds and just it looks fucking awful.
Yeah.
Like in some reports, it said bones could be seen like falling out of old rotting coffins.
Dude, holy shit. That'd be kind of cool to see, but damn.
And like a lot of like grave robbers and vandalizers or vandals, I mean, the vandalizers. Come with me, vandalizers. The Van Wildizers.
Oh, fuck yes, dude.
But like vandals and
Melon
shit, they would set coffins on fire and just break them and shit. So the cemetery had its own like satanic sect, they called it. So like after dark, this place was just booming with just vandals and like devil worshippers and shit.
Just a bunch of just sexy people.
And a lot of sexy people.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's pretty fucked up. I mean, the place is heavily vandalized. Graves and vaults are destroyed. Bodies are just seen hanging out. And David, he decided that it was up to him to camp out in the graveyard and lay his goofy fucking eyes upon the vampire himself. So here's a letter that David Ferrant wrote to the newspaper, hoping to get some more details or maybe some more people to come forward to assist him. And this was from Friday, February 6th, 1970. And the newspaper was titled Ghostly Walks in Highgate.
Ooh, I like that. They should do that at Halloween for sure.
And this is him from point of view. Some nights I walk home past the cemetery gates of Highgate Cemetery. On 3 occasions I have seen what appeared to be a ghost-like figure inside the gates at the top of Swain's Lane. The first occasion was on Christmas Eve.
Fuck, are you there on Christmas Eve, bro? Jesus, man.
I saw a gray figure for a few seconds before it disappeared into the darkness. The second sighting, a week later, was also brief. Last week, the figure appeared, only a few yards inside the gates. This time, it was there for long enough for me to see it much more clearly, and now I can think of no other explanation than this apparition being supernatural.
I just feel bad for this dude that he was there on Christmas Eve, to be honest.
Yeah, so right away, 2 things. One, Ferrant, he is a ghost/paranormal hunter and investigator. So yes, he is the hero that we all need and deserve.
That's right.
And 2, this motherfucker spent Christmas Eve at the goddamn cemetery. So either he's like fucking super dedicated to his craft or he's just lonely as
He has
shit.
no family at all. I'm guessing both.
And he stated that the figure had piercing hypnotic eyes, and the air around him turned icy cold, but not as cold as the freezing, lonely isolation that would forever surround this wild man and future member of our Commonplace.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Hashtag Wildman.
Fuck yeah. Really, he just saw Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Oh.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
Even the ghost, like, are you fucking looking at us, guy, or you watching the sky with your goofy fucking eyes? And here's some quotes from Ferrance. He said, "My first reaction was like it was so real that I actually thought it was someone dressed up or messing about because all these stories about vampires were in the news. It was by some branches, but as soon as I turned up, I was aware of something standing there, and it was exuding a feeling not of evil, but menace."
Exuding.
Ooh, and menace.
It all happened so quickly. The whole thing lasted for 4 to 5 seconds. Hey, that is a long time.
Yeah, oh yeah.
For if we're talking about sex, that's
Yeah.
like you can get a couple cigarette puffs in that
Oh,
time.
yeah. Anything
after.
lasting. I mean, besides CJ over here, because
That's
CJ,
true.
I mean, CJ can go for days.
Exuding is what I call it in the mornings when I just try to take a shit. I'm trying to get it to come out.
He said the whole thing lasted for 4 to 5 seconds and felt like whatever it was filled me with energy. It is difficult to explain, and suddenly it just vanished.
I'm thinking conspiracy. I think this guy is trying to drive revenue for the West and East.
Oh shit, man.
Yeah.
They've been broke, right? Vandals coming in.
But yeah, this whole thing does bring a lot of attention and a lot of money eventually when they start making money off it.
Like you just trying to start a gang war between the East and the West.
The Crips and Bloods, as you were mentioning.
That's fucking right, dude.
And soon after this letter was published, fox carcasses and the remains of other animals were said to have been turning up near Highgate and in the cemetery, and reports stated that the animals had their throats cut and were drained of blood.
Dude, that would be creepy as shit, though.
When Ferrant was waiting to stay in there another night, he was taking a group of guys with him, so he had like 2 or 3 of like his friends / ghost hunter paranormal investigator guys, and then he had another guy who was like a grave digger, and the grave digger was like one of his best guys. But the thing is like he was waiting on him to show up, so the rest of the guys were in the cemetery waiting on the grave digger to show up.
Yeah.
And on one hand, he's like, well, we need the grave digger. He's one of our best workers. He knows his shit. He knows what to do. On the other hand, he's always been kind of unreliable, and he's always late.
Yeah.
But in his business, they called him a digger with attitude.
He is in the DWA.
Yeah.
Oh,
So he was known as a grave digger.
Straight out of Cambridge.
oh fuck, that's right.
And the rest of the group were like, well, do we really got to wait on him? And Ferrant instantly interrupted him, and he's like, I ain't going in unless I'm with my digger. My digger, my digger.
Holy shit.
Then, luckily, he showed up.
Oh,
So,
thank God he came, yeah.
so
That was actually Ferrant, that was his name?
yeah, Ferrant.
That was his that was his brother for uncle.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Dude, I've been holding that back. I was trying not to say that one.
For
I'm
uncle.
so glad.
Now, I will note, I believe most of this information that we're going to be mentioning was originally found in books that were written by Ferrant, and of course, the next hero that we are about to introduce. So here we go. Anything before we introduce our second
Is
hero?
the next hero Deli?
No, but he should
I
be.
mean, Deli is the hero, but
And now we enter our second main character, and also the only other person that the brothers here collectively get more trim than, Mr. Bishop Sean Manchester.
oh fuck yeah, dude.
And just look this dude up. Fucking sideburns like the dude from Real Big Fish. And I don't know why exactly, but I really want to fucking punch Manchester in the face for no real reason other than just the fact that he has those sweet
Yeah.
fucking sideburns that I
For
can't
some reason
grow.
he deserves it.
And now you would think that these two would be friends, right? Like Ferrant and Manchester, they got a common goal. But united, they would be not. They are actually enemies. They can't stand each other. Even though they're both paranormal hunters and vampire hunters, they cannot stand each other.
East side, west side, all over again, man.
So these guys, they become the main faces of our story, and they were constantly the ones that are in the media in regards to the Highgate Vampire. And the local newspaper, which is called the Hampstead and Highgate Express, which is like a super badass name, they had started publishing reports and stories on the Highgate Vampire, as well as reports on Satanists performing black magic and stories of animal sacrifices and all that other fun stuff.
Animal semen.
Huh. So maybe the satanic panic started in England and then spread to America over the next 10 years.
Yeah, probably did, yeah.
I guess it's more like 20 years.
We
though.
can really blame for Aunt, probably. Not for Uncle, though.
Not for Uncle.
He wouldn't do that shit, but definitely for Aunt.
And this was the moment that Bishop Manchester decided to get involved. And one thing about Manchester, he claims to be a bishop, but I have no idea where or what church or anything like that. Like, I think he said he was Catholic, but there's like no records or anything of him being an actual bishop as far as I know. But yeah, he's also a vampire hunter, so I'm guessing he's not a real bishop. And it was in February of 1970 when Manchester told the newspaper that the figure that people had all been seeing was none other than a king vampire, which was an undead 15th century Romanian nobleman who had practiced black magic in Romania, which just so happened to be the home to Count Dracula as well.
Oh, shit.
Man,
That sounds real.
I can't verify because all I know about Romania is they produce really good cam girls.
I didn't even know that much. So now I know one thing about Romania.
And now you may be thinking, like, okay, Manchester, that's all interesting and all good, but how the fuck do you know that? We have no clue, no idea. I have no idea how he came up with that or how he said he knows that.
Yeah.
But still, I don't doubt him. King Vampire, it is.
It really,
has
honestly,
to be.
it just sounds like he was coming up for like the backstory of his D&D character.
I know, dude. Yeah, he's a nobleman, Romanian King Vampire is
Yeah,
what it's
it
called. He's
really
from
does.
Dracula's home.
It really does sound like
It
it.
just makes me think of like king size Kit Kat or king size Reese's.
Oh, fuck yes, dude.
Like you get 4 or
Vampire.
5 in a pack when you get the king vampire.
I believe him as of right now. King Vampire it is. I believe in Manchester. But his story doesn't end there. He claims that his body had somehow ended up buried in Highgate. So sometime while his body in a coffin was traveling through England, it somehow ended up getting buried here.
King Vampire's body?
King Vampire's body.
No.
And while the King Vampire's body was buried, the King Vampire would end up getting revived by a group of Satanists that were active and operating at the cemetery.
It's still a pretty cool story. I like it.
Yeah, so fuck all you non-believers that doubted Manchester sideburns, because you can't just make that shit up. And then this was the moment that the figure in reported sightings would be forever linked to the legend of the Highgate Vampire.
Did Manchester ever have that milk with Adam Sandler?
Dude, his fucking sideburns are so ridiculous. It's like his sideburns are pointing to where, if he had a mustache, like where would it be? And that's where the sideburns are
Fuck
pointing.
yeah. Yeah, how about you? Sideburns, you want some of this milk?
No milk
Will ever be our milk.
will ever be our milk. And now the battle between Ferrant and Manchester was about to begin. It was during this time in March of 1970, which also happened to be on Friday the 13th,
Oh, fuck yeah.
that during an interview with both of them, that Manchester spoke about his account of the King Vampire, and then Ferrant, not about to be left in the dust and forgotten, claimed that on that very night he would personally be leading a vampire hunt at the Highgate Cemetery.
I mean, I would go to it. I'm not gonna lie. If I was bored, I'd go to that shit.
What if it was like $50?
No.
I think people were just climbing
Insane.
in for free.
Say if it was
Fuck
free,
yeah.
I'm fucking going.
So
yeah.
it's like a movie theater from back then.
Yeah. Let's say if it's free, I mean, especially back then, I'm going.
But this was like an interview with like the news.
Wait, an interview with a vampire?
It was an interview with
You
the
got there
vampire.
quicker than I did.
Dude, you know in that movie, since it had Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise, since Tom Cruise is like so fucking short, and the scenes with him and Brad Pitt together, they had to dig trenches to have Brad Pitt walk through so he wouldn't
Fuck
look as
yes.
tall.
That's amazing, dude.
But yeah, so this is on like a news interview. And I think this is like the only interview they did together, because they wouldn't even do interviews at all if they knew they were going to be like interviewing the other guy later, because they hated each other that much. So like they really fucking hate each other. But
It's like the People's Front of Judea versus the Judea People's Front, if you've seen Life of Brian.
no, I haven't seen that. I need to see it.
Oh, it's
I
like
need to
the
watch
two
it.
different rebel groups in Jerusalem who both hate the Romans, but they can't get along with each other.
Hell yeah.
That sounds exactly what this is, actually. Like, it sounds just like this. And I heard some reports say that Manchester kind of like tricked him into like saying it. Like, he was like, no, Ferrant's going to be leading a thing tonight. Like, I think he might have kind of like goaded him into it. But honestly, though, fuck yeah, dude. I'm Team Ferrant all the way right now. So what about you guys? Are you Team Sideburns or Team Igor?
I want to go sideburns.
All right.
I'm going Igor. Sideburns just pisses me off.
Damn, Siege.
I gotta go with Manchester.
Yeah.
All right, so we're 2 and
Yeah,
2. We're
2 and
split
2.
2 and 2.
Man, just because of his name, it's just cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty sweet name.
Like, I'm a man, and my name should have been Chester.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Imagine if his name was Chester Manchester.
That'd be fucking awesome. And he'd be great at soccer.
Yo, so what happened to the lead singer of Linkin Park? Manchester. That's not funny. That's mean. I'm sorry.
So that was awesome.
I'm sorry. So yeah, the brothers here are split. We got half going Team Sideburns, half going Igor. So I'll be honest, I think Ferrant is the better hunter. He legit hangs out at the cemetery like Buffy on a school night. He doesn't give a fuck about the haters or the non-believers. #Wildman.
#Wildman.
All that you can say about Manchester, but we're not going to. We're biased.
#Wildman.
#Wildman. And because of the media involvement, people really wanted to partake in this historical vampire hunting event. And legit, hundreds of people showed up and climbed over the gates and walls of the cemetery to break in.
Hell yeah, dude.
And although some sources claim that it was only 100, like 100 is the lowest number I saw.
Yeah.
Many are like hundreds came.
Nice.
And they showed up with like holy water, stakes, Bibles, crucifixes, whatever they had to battle the vampire and other undead. But they mostly just ended up running from cops the whole time.
Yeah, I'd imagine, yeah.
And even though many that night would report seeing a strange, tall, dark floating figure, I do have some bad news, guys.
What's that?
There would be no slaying of any vampires.
Oh, man. Did anybody else get slayed?
The pussy.
Did they,
yeah,
wait, what? Siege came? Oh, that's cool. Did they listen to Slayer?
They may have, yeah.
Okay, well,
Maybe this event was the inspiration for the band Slayer to be created.
It could be, yeah.
And even though nothing was found that night, both Ferrant and Manchester would continue their investigation in Highgate. And both would even publish many books about their huntings, as well as putting each other down as often as possible. Many times going on about their rivalry with each other. As soon as they're given a chance, they will just badmouth each other. And according to Ferrant's frequently asked questions section on his website, which is fucking hilarious, he claims that he does not believe in vampires. And this is his reasoning. Because, quote,
This is why I'm not for him.
hammer horror type vampires, i.e., that sleep in their coffins by day and arise by night to feast on human blood, that can be repelled by the sign of the crucifix or holy water, and which can be destroyed by a stake through the heart, simply do not exist.
Yeah.
This is not to say there may not exist other psychic phenomenon which may take on vampire-like characteristics. In parentheses, he said visiting sleeping humans by night, for example. But that is an entirely different matter. So he says, according to his website, which he also claims gets hundreds of visitors a day, which I'm calling bullshit on that one.
Yeah, unless you went there 100 times. Are you guys still on this guy's team?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he says he doesn't believe in vampires. However, in 1970, this motherfucker was arrested at the cemetery, and on him, he was carrying a crucifix and a fucking wooden stake.
Fuck yes, dude. Hell yeah.
And people on his website are always like, yeah, weren't you arrested? He's like, didn't you spend time in jail? He's like, yes, in 1973 for 3 years. Like, so what? Like, well,
We spent 3 years?
Oh, we'll talk about some stuff. But yeah,
gotcha.
people are always saying so many funny shit on his website that he like comes at and defends himself
Fuck
too. It's
yeah.
pretty good.
So good.
And next, our two hunters began to heighten their rivalry even more. Both considered one another a fraud. And soon, Manchester released his own account of the Highgate mystery called The Highgate Vampire, and Ferrant responded with his book titled Beyond the Highgate Vampire.
Oh my god, yes.
It's
Nice.
so fucking petty,
Nice.
but funny.
That's pretty awesome. My hope is that this just ends them fighting in a Hell in a Cell match.
Well, the book after that was The Highgate Vampire, When Harry Met Lloyd.
Oh shit, man.
Or no, wait. Sorry, let me do that again. The next book was The Highgate Vampire, When Harry Met Lloyd.
Oh man, Jesus. That thing would have gotten 0 on Rotten Tomatoes for sure.
And in Manchester's book on Rotten Tomatoes, and in Manchester's book, which was released in 1985, he claimed that he had continued hunting the king vampire for 13 years before finally staking the bastard, cutting its head off, and burning it, thus making him the victor and king vampire slayer.
Yeah, how would you not be on this guy's side?
Because, man, I just
Where's the proof? That's why I want to know.
There's so much
How
proof,
can I be
man.
on his side without the proof?
Read
I've
between
already
the
heard enough proof to believe in this thing.
Read between the lines, CJ. Come on, man.
And when this thing started, they were both in like their early 20s. It's like the videos I showed you guys are old. They're like a lot older. This is like two guys in like their early 20s having this feud.
It's fucking awesome.
Over, like, it goes to this day.
Yeah.
So they've been having this feud for like 50 years.
Dude, I wish I would have done this in my early 20s, honestly.
They're like Grindelwald and Dumbledore.
Oh, hell yeah, they are, dude.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, I should have been doing this in my early 20s instead of trying to bang Stifler's mom all the time.
And Satanists continued to have their satanic panic fun at the cemetery. Black magic symbols, ritual paraphernalia, 20-sided dice, Mountain Dew, Doritos, and all the other nerd stuff that would be found at the cemetery. And I know we were joking a lot, but it's like, it's so fucked up that people are just like fucking up these graves. And like not just the stones, but like the caskets and everything. They're just completely destroying the shit.
Wait, the Rolling Stones are buried there?
The Rolling Stones.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Hey, and who's the old lady? That's my old lady.
That's my old lady.
The bones roll out and it's like, I can't get no.
Oh, fuck yes, dude.
So now let's go to 1971, when the charred, headless body of a woman would be found at the cemetery. And of course, thank Palor, this woman had a stake through her chest, thus preventing her vampire return.
We can all be thankful for that, yeah.
So it's pretty clear we have some fucking nutty buddies out there doing some weird shit. Which now leads us to a retelling of a vampire hunt at the cemetery by our very own King of Sideburns, the Bishop Manchester.
Woo! Go Bishop.
That's right.
So this is from his 1985 book, in which he mentions on his vampire hunt in 1970 when he was traveling with his sleepwalking psychic companion,
Of course.
who also happened to be a beautiful blonde woman. Like, get the fuck out of here,
I mean,
Manchester.
all right. I mean,
if this woman is real, I promise you she wasn't beautiful.
Yeah.
She's hanging around your goofy ass.
I mean, I'm on this guy's side, but no, I'll admit that's a lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not a beautiful blonde woman.
He's like, oh, you went to the cemetery. Yeah. Well, who were you with? I was with a sleepwalking psychic companion, and she was a beautiful girl.
Yeah.
So maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. Maybe we're just jealous because one of our future brothers is doing a lot better than we are. So according to him, his psychic sleepwalking companion did what she did best. She began to sleepwalk while at the cemetery and led him straight to the lair of the king vampire.
Oh, fuck yeah. I'm
That's
back on the side of this.
That's
I like
right.
This. I like this.
Vampires have layers like onions have layers.
Holy shit, dude.
Straight to one of the vaults at the cemetery, which was a catacombs type thing that held like multiple bodies inside. I'm not sure how many, like what the exact numbers were or how many bodies were in here, but I mean it had to be a lot based on our numbers earlier where there's like 100 and...
If you were to rank it somewhere between like bread box and like Andrew's closet, which would you rank it at for like body storage capacity?
Well, also, we could ask Justin Long. He fell down that well and found it. Just fucking Jeepers Creepers.
Be eating you?
Oh, yeah.
Whatever the fuck it was.
That's still a good fucking movie.
The first half of that movie is scary as fuck.
I still defend the whole movie. I like that movie.
It's all right.
Yeah,
Jeepers Creepers.
Where'd you get them peeping? Yeah.
I still like that
Why
movie.
did they make a sequel?
Oh, fuck. Okay, yeah, that's when it got bad.
But sadly, we do have a buzzkill right here. As he gets to the vault, Manchester was unable to break into it. But his heart is way too fucking big, and he wasn't ready to give up on his dream. He needed to slay this piece of shit bloodsucker, and he wasn't just about to give up.
That's right. Manchester don't give up, dude.
So he knew he had to break into this vault.
Yeah.
But before doing it, he needed a moment to himself, and that's when he lied in the grass next to the mausoleum.
Oh, my God.
Whoa.
It's just a notching.
And he put his hand up against it, and he sang to himself softly. He said, "Am I more than you bargained for yet?" And then all the diggers with attitude around him joined in. I've been dying to tell you anything you want to hear, 'cause that's just who I am this week. And so then he had the energy and power. He climbed on top of the roof, and he noticed that there was a giant-ass hole that he could easily get through.
Oh, fuck
and
yeah.
thankfully, he was stealthy enough that the large number of police in the area had no idea that he was ninjaing into this bad boy.
Yeah.
He then looked around inside. He noticed that all the coffins were empty. Fuck.
Wow.
Had they risen? Had they left? Had they already been taken care of?
He goes, I missed the rapture.
Hashtag Wildman.
Hashtag Wildman. And then he cursed out loud and said, "You always fold just before you're found out."
So many Fallout Boy jokes, dude.
But yeah, he's like, oh, fuck, man, what would be happening next? Would they soon be returning? Who knows? But one thing he did know, he had to act fast. In that spot, what would you do, Tim? You break in there to kill King Vampire, but you don't see him. You just see a bunch of empty coffins.
I think just let out fucking Silent but Deadly, man.
All right, SBD, I like that.
Yeah.
CJ, what would you do, man?
I'm calling for the hot blonde. I need your help. I'm in here. Help.
Dude, come on. If it was you, CJ, she'd have been on that dick the whole time, man.
Hell yeah. What about you, Spence?
What would I do? I don't know. I'm sorry. I spaced out a little bit. What happened at this part? I saw when he saw. I remember when he saw the coffins were open and stuff.
That's it. He broke in to slay the king vampire, but noticed a bunch of empty coffins. Nothing in there.
I don't know. That might. You know, it's like maybe Heaven's Gate.
Oh.
Like maybe the comet did come.
Oh, shit.
But it was like later.
Damn.
They all moved to London, or maybe the bodies were transferred to London.
Were there Nike shoes found?
That would be my next guess. Would be, were there any Nike shoes found?
I don't believe so. No.
Shit.
No Popeyes?
No Popeye.
Well, wait, but was Mark there?
They should have buried them in Russia. There would have been plenty of Nike shoes and Adidas. Everything.
Adidas everywhere.
Plenty of Popeyes.
Dude, Spence, I always laugh in the Heaven's Gate episode when you're talking about like when the one guy went through with the camera. You're like, did he point at him like, oh, well, there's Bill.
Napa know-how.
This month, get a 5-quart jug of Napa Full Synthetic Motor Oil plus a Napa Platinum Oil Filter for $21.98. That's a pretty unbelievable deal. But trust us, it's totally real, but only for a limited time. So get Napa Full Synthetic and a Napa Platinum Oil Filter for $21.98 today. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
General states pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer ends 4/30/19.
So Manchester, he decided to take a page out of the Belmonts, and he placed garlic and holy water inside and around them in order to prevent any of their pussy monsters from trying to return home.
They ain't fucking with Manchester.
But remember earlier when we mentioned that he hunted the vampire for 13 years? Yep, that's right. No dice. This wasn't the vampire's casa after all. Much like me trying to find my real father, the search continues.
Holy shit. Well,
Wait, you said pussy monsters? I'm sorry, Timmy.
Pussy
no,
monsters.
Good. Keep going.
Compared to Manchester and Ferrant, these vampires are just pussy monsters.
Pussy monsters. Wait, so Mike Wazowski was there?
Holy shit. What? Damn.
You fucking leave him alone, man.
Dude, holy shit. Billy Crystal just got pissed off.
Mike Wazowski.
I actually want to change mine, like, because if I could have been Manchester with this happening,
Yeah.
I would have known that I had a Patronus. And I would have fucking just conjured that up.
Hell yeah.
And it just would have been the really like insane soccer fans from the movie Euro Trip.
The one who opens the beer with his eyes?
Yeah, the Manchester United.
Brit, they fucking good.
Yeah. So I would fucking just conjure up these dudes, man.
They're your Patronus?
Oh yeah. These guys would fuck
dude.
everything up.
I like that, man.
You mentioned Billy Crystal. I guess I mentioned Billy Crystal.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
The other day when Timmy's niece was over,
Yeah.
she was staying home alone, and Timmy was like her guardian for the weekend or something.
Yeah, it wasn't fun.
And she thought that people had broken into her house, so Timmy had to go like inspect it.
Yeah.
And as they left, I was like, "Have fun storming the castle." Nobody laughed at the time, though.
I didn't hear it because I would have.
Now, this part it gets a little crazy because I don't have the book, but this is what I found out happens in it. And this is all supposed to be true reports of his vampire hunting. And fuck you if you don't believe it. It is true, you greedy fucks.
Hey, you cunts.
So I know it sounds like I'm on Manchester's side right now, but I'm
you
still,
are. You've crossed over.
I'm still on Team Ferrant. Team Igor.
I don't know. It's just like in the office when they're trying to figure out if Hillary Swank is hot. Eventually, you're gonna cross over, bro.
She's not. So we can settle
Really?
that.
Yeah.
here.
Actually, no. Yeah.
That's not a debate.
I'd be on the not hot thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think
fine.
we all would, except for that guy and like Boys Don't Cry. Never mind. We're not gonna talk. In that movie, she pretends to be a dude, and I think she gets raped or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I watched that with my mom. It was real weird.
Holy shit.
So, anyways, yeah, this next part it gets real crazy. So Manchester, he hunted the king vampire for 13 years. He was finally able to track him down at a location in an abandoned old house in London's. I wrote Crouch End. London's Crouch End.
I like Crouch. Yeah.
I don't know if that's a typo. If that's what it is. Or not.
Hey, Crotch. Crawl.
So he tracked him down to this location, this abandoned old house, and he entered inside and he found a coffin. So he kicked the fucking casket lid off. Blam! Fucking out of here. Get out of here, he said. And then he saw the spawn of hell resting in the coffin. So he pulled out a stake and jammed it through his fucking heart. And then he burned the body. And finally, oh fucking sweet Jesus, he did it. He finally sent that abomination back to hell.
Yeah. And this is the chick? Fuck yes.
But
dude.
that's not the end, guys.
Oh, yeah.
That's not the end.
Yeah.
It took him 13 years to find him, and he did finally. Now, his sleepwalking companion, which according to the book is now an undead companion named Lucia.
Lucius Malfoy.
Which no clue where that came from, if that's supposed to be the same. Lucius Malfoy.
We're talking about pussy monsters.
Yeah, definitely Lucius Malfoy. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
We don't even have to add in monster there. We just call him pussy.
You got a shitty haircut and your robe smells like shit. You're either a green or a fucking Weasley. Whatever, man, you know?
And that was your dad talking to you.
I know. I'm like, Dad, this is your fucking school robe. It says Kevin's dad stitched into it.
Right beside the Hufflepuff insignia.
Holy shit!
They just gave him that because he smoked so much.
Oh my god!
That since it had puff in it, yeah, that's not funny. That's not,
blew my mind.
That's not funny.
It just smells like cigarettes.
Like maybe the Hufflepuffs were just the stoners of Hogwarts.
Could have been.
Could be.
Could have been.
Shit.
You know what? I'm gonna go out and say I don't care. I kind of like the Hufflepuffs.
I mean, I like everybody. It's just Harry Potter, but
yeah.
I mean,
Except Harry's dad. I hate that guy. He's a piece of shit. Fuck that guy. He is.
Well, yeah, he's a dick, but I mean, so Snape, and
he's
I fucking
a jock
love Snape.
piece of shit. I'd love to watch Snape beat his ass.
Snape had a good reason to be a dick.
Yeah, because James was a dick.
Right.
Yeah, because
exactly.
James was getting his hair cut by like actual like barbers and people, and Snape had to go to like supercuts.
Snape ended up with the Floby cut.
Oh fuck yeah, he did. That's
actually how Snape got like so intelligent, because he would go to supercuts so much that they just had so many magazines there. He learned so much.
They always played PBS on the TV, so he just learned a lot.
Sorry, Smithsonian Magazine. Do tell me more about King Tut's tomb.
Oh fuck yeah!
All right, so back to this. His sleepwalking companion. She was now possessed by the evil spirit from the vampire. So Manchester, he did what every righteous wild man would do in this tight little spot. He tried an exorcism, but that didn't work.
That escalated quickly.
Yeah, it did.
If you guys can guess this next, okay, we'll go around the table real quick. What do you think happens next? Tim?
Autoerotic asphyxiation.
Close. CJ?
I mean, I haven't liked this guy from the start. He's a murderer, grave robber.
I've liked
Can't
him the
trust
whole
him.
time.
I think he's throwing that stake through her heart.
All right. Spence?
Manchester and Igor just reenact the movie Black Sheep.
Okay, no, that's fucking it. That's it. That's it. If it's not, pretend it is.
So CJ is closest, guys. After he tried the exorcism and it failed, his undead companion turned into a giant spider. Manchester had to wrestle her. He had to wrestle for his life. And then he drove a stake right between her beautiful spider titties and killed her, releasing Lucia from the evil spell.
It's like the end of the It miniseries.
Dude, it really is. Yeah.
And immediately after he sent that fucking demon bitch back to hell, he sang out from the heart and said, "One night, yeah, one more time. Thanks for the memories, even though they weren't so great.
So funny,
Something
dude.
tastes like you, only sweeter."
So much Fallout Boy.
Actually, I don't know if in the book, if he killed her, but he said like he stabs her while in the spider form, and that released her evil spirit.
Wow.
But either way, it's pretty fucking righteous.
Hashtag Wildman.
Hashtag Wildman.
She must
Where was
have
this
had
guy
her.
in,
I'm sorry, please. No, go for it.
Big ass spider.
Oh, I know. They could have
you
used
guys
him in
could
Big
fucking
Ass
use him.
Spider.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
Hey, do you remember? She's dead.
that was a good movie.
So yeah, that's pretty good stuff. That's from his book, and it's pretty much like not a rip-off of Dracula or anything else. It's actually really good and true story.
Yeah, Bram Stoker or Stoker? Bram Stoker.
Bram Stoker
it
is
should be
my porno name.
It should be Stroker. Holy shit. Okay. Bram Stoker would be proud, but it should be Stroker. We're just going to call it Stroker.
That's why I didn't say it, because I didn't remember if it was Stroker or not either.
Dude, I'm pretty sure it is Stoker, but
It is Stoker, right?
God damn, Stroker sounds good.
Stroker's better.
Yeah.
So this is from the wiki page. I don't know when this was supposed to have happened, but he also had another visit to the vault between his his first time going in there where he didn't do anything. He just dropped like the garlic and stuff. And then between the actual 13 years later, this was sometime in between that.
Whoa. Did he report whether down in the vault he saw any copies of Song of the South?
Oh, fuck yes, dude. Holy shit. This is a Disney vault?
Dude, that's like 2 weeks in a row you cracked a Disney vault joke.
I was going to crack a Green Gods vault joke, but yours was way better.
Key plays.
Yeah. Key plays.
So he claims that one of the times he visited the vault, he and his companions, they did succeed in forcing open the door inch by inch, the heavy and rusty iron doors of a family vault, indicated by his female psychic helper. And this is just straight from the wiki.
Yeah.
He lifted the massive lid off one coffin, believing it had been mysteriously transferred there from the previous catacomb, and he was about to drive a stake through the body it contained when one of his companions persuaded him not to. Reluctantly, he shut the coffin, put garlic and incense in the vault, and then left.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the fucking point of that? If you're supposed to be this vampire hunter, and they're like, no, don't do it. You're like, all right, I won't.
No, it sounds like a good idea.
Sounds like he pussied out where Ferrant would have had the balls to do it.
All right, fine. None of them are Bon Jovi, okay? They're not that good of vampire hunters, all right? Fine.
Or fucking Eddie Winslow. How do we not mention Eddie Winslow?
In that one. Yeah, what the fuck was that one called?
I think it's just called Vampires.
What was the
He gets
Bon
a
Jovi?
blowjob. It's that one. It's the Bon Jovi
Is it the same one? Oh, okay,
yeah.
gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a vampire movie with Bon Jovi and Eddie Winslow where Eddie Winslow gets a blowjob from a vampire, and he knows she's a vampire, but he just does it anyway.
Well, he knows that's the only time he's going to get a blowjob. He's fucking Eddie Winslow.
As long as, that's if he doesn't show up here tonight with all of us here.
Well, that's true.
Right. So in regards to Ferrant, he claims that he never believed that this was actually a vampire, and even though he's on video and newspapers and everything else about these events, he likes to try and say that he didn't say any of it. So he's like, no, that's not true. I didn't say any of that shit, but he did. And I believe he does believe that it was in fact a demon instead of a vampire. I think he said like a demon or a specter possibly. And also, the house that Manchester claimed to have killed the king vampire in was a real house.
Whoa.
At least according to Ferrant's website, when he speaks about how in 1973 he was arrested at that house while conducting a series of magical rituals there.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Whoa.
So, it's so weird. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, the one guy makes up a story where he says he kills the king vampire there, and then in 1974, which 1974, I think that book came out in 85, actually.
Yeah.
And then in 1974, though, this dude was actually arrested there for doing shit.
That's awesome.
And Ferrant, he was jailed in 1974, damaging memorials and interfering with dead remains in the cemetery. However, he says that it wasn't him. Like, all that stuff, like vandalism and desecration, was caused by Satanists and not him.
Hashtag Wildman.
Hashtag Wildman.
Satanists do everything.
They do. Yeah. We can blame him for a lot of things.
Yeah.
And so Manchester and Ferrant, they just fucking hate each other till this day. Each one claims the other one's incompetent, and like he's like, no, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, they badmouth each other like crazy. And one of my favorite things about this case is that there were rumors going around that Manchester and Ferrant hated each other so much that they were like set to actually have a quote wizard's duel against each other.
Holy shit.
Like, they were like,
man.
we're gonna settle this with a fucking wizard's duel. But sadly, it never happened.
Okay, let's try to like find out how to get a hold of these guys, and let's just fucking antagonize them until this happens.
I know, we need this to fucking happen.
Yeah, like, I would pay money for this, like easily, as long as they both die at the end. Nobody can live.
Manchester dies at the end.
Exactly.
We for the movie.
We forced them somehow. Like, part of the Wizards duel has to do with them watching only the last season of Lost. And that's it. None of the other stuff.
You know, the best Wizards duel on screen is probably the Sword and the Stone one. Where
I don't
turn
remember
into
Sword
like
and Stone is sweet.
different animals.
I don't remember it.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
definitely not any in Lord of the Rings because they don't have any spells.
Oh,
they just
gosh.
swirl
They
each
just
other
have
around.
telekinetic powers.
Yeah,
basically.
I was so
There's
bummed out
There's
by
a couple
that.
cool ones in Harry Potter, but they don't last
Yeah,
very
I
long.
like that one. I always think of Voldemort doing that like tongue thing he
Oh
does.
yeah,
and,
with Dumbledore. Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
really cool.
that was
I feel
cool.
like it could have been cooler, but it was still pretty cool.
and I always like weird noises. Like, I like the water noises in that scene.
Oh yeah, it is
cool.
awesome.
Is that in Half-Blood Prince?
That one would have been in Order of the Phoenix. It's when they're right after Sirius gets killed, which is a great scene.
Well, spoiler alert, Tim.
Whoops. Sorry, Trent.
Andrew legit just sent me a text that said, awesome last 3 episodes, bro.
Oh shit, man.
Well,
Yeah.
at least he's still a fan.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool. It's cool that you get text from whatever like afterlife Andrew's in. That's
I know.
pretty cool.
Yeah, we did kill him. So
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
He
All right.
wrote those like a year ago and he put it on a timer.
He's like, man, those fucking episodes 8, 9, and 10 were great. So here we go. I do have a
His
bit of.
phone's been in airplane mode this whole time, so he didn't download anymore.
He's like, man, that fucking Axeman episode was a hell of an episode.
He's like, have you guys seen that new movie Mystery Men? So I do have some random info to talk about now. According to a report in the London Evening News on November 2nd, 1968, on the night of Halloween 1968, a graveyard desecration by persons unknown occurred at Tottenham Park Cemetery in London. I believe this is straight from the wiki, too. These persons arranged flowers taken from graves in circular patterns with arrows of blooms pointing to a new grave, which was uncovered.
Oh, that's creepy.
A coffin was opened and the body inside was, quote, disturbed.
Jesus.
But their most macabre act was driving an iron stake in form across through the lid and into the breast of a corpse.
Whoa.
So
Which member of Disturbed was it?
So this was in 1968, so some people think that people saw this and like copycatted
Probably.
it.
We all know that some crazy shit happens on Halloween 10 years later, too.
Oh, that is true, dude.
Oh, yeah. 1978.
We're now
Fuck
into
yeah.
Postgraduate time period.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's AG now.
But if this is right, it says they stabbed like a fucking stake in the form of a cross through the lid and into the breast of the corpse.
I mean, that's creepy as fuck.
You got to be fucking strong. That's like Donnie Darko putting that axe through that fucking statue, dude.
I really did not like that movie.
It's cool if you're like 12.
Yeah,
When you're 12, that movie's badass.
Yeah, Andrew talked it up to me a lot, and I watched it, and I was just like, okay. I mean, it was fine. But
See, I liked it a lot when I was younger,
wasn't
and I
huge
tried
in
to
it.
watch it now.
Yeah,
and
it's pretty
kinda
tough. I do like Patrick Swayze.
Swayze's awesome.
Yeah, Patrick Swayze.
Although he is
cool.
like a child molester in it. He has a bunch
He's
of
not in
kitty
real
porn.
life, though, right? Patrick Swayze.
No, hell no.
Okay, thank God. I got really scared for a
No,
second.
dude.
Okay.
Rest in peace, Swayze.
We love you.
Now, the Friends of Highgate Cemetery Trust, that was set up in 1975 and acquired the freehold of both East and West cemeteries by 1981. And that was when they took over like responsibility for the maintenance of the cemetery. And Friends of Highgate Cemetery Trust is run by volunteers, supported by paid staff and countless volunteers who do everything from guiding tours to helping maintain the landscape. And that was taken straight from their website. So it is like a super badass looking cemetery, and there's some famous people buried here. I would love to go visit it.
Yeah,
but
that'd be awesome.
that is pretty much everything we have on the Highgate Vampire. It was just some sightings, then these two vampire hunters feuding for like 20, 30 years, whatever it is. And it's just, it's not exactly what I thought it was. I never heard of it. So when it was requested, I was like, oh, cool, we'll see what that is. I didn't expect it to be just two vampire hunters like wizard dueling it out over this.
No, when they found that body, was that a body that was already dead, or was that a murder?
No, it was already dead. Although I did see one report where they said like one day while searching the cemetery, they found like a corpse in a car, and it wasn't like related.
Wow.
It was like someone murdered a girl, I think.
Holy
I don't know
crap.
the exact details, so don't. Like, you'll have to look that up. I'm not 100%, but it was like they found like a body inside a car, but it wasn't related to it.
Wow, that's crazy. Oh, speaking of which, I think I brought this up in like a podcast like forever ago about somebody making a like horror story that's like not starring obviously, but like the main character is Sharon Tate, and they are making a horror story where like the whole time she's like seeing herself being murdered, and then obviously we all know what happens.
Yeah.
And the trailer for that is out.
Oh,
And
shit.
I don't know why the fuck somebody made that movie, but it's called The Haunting of Sharon Tate.
What the fuck?
It's a fucking thing. And
That's like...
for one, Hilary Duff plays Sharon Tate.
Whoa! Fuck, I wouldn't mind murdering that ass, though.
Dude, and two, they fucking play Charlie Manson's one of his songs like during the trailer.
He actually has good songs, though.
Yeah, he
I'm not
did,
even
but, like-
joking.
Like, you know how fucking offensive
Look at
all
your
that
game, girl.
is the one like Pretty Girl or something like that?
The one is like, look at your game, girl, or something like that. It's actually a fucking good song.
But yeah, they even show like crime scene videos and shit. It's like, dude, that is so fucking like just offensive to the families and stuff.
The time keeps on flying. Think you're loving, baby, and all you're doing is crying. Can you feel? Are those feelings real? Look at your game, girl. Look at
So we might put a clip right there. If you just heard a clip of "Look at Your Game Girls" by Charles Manson on YouTube, one of the top comments is, "Pretty good song. Not so much a fan of his later work."
Holy shit.
Dude, I remember, I think it was Norm Macdonald, actually, now that I mentioned it.
Oh, hell yeah.
It was when Manson passed away.
It was Norm Macdonald.
They're like, "Oh, my condolences to his family."
So fucking good, dude.
Fuck yeah.
So funny.
Yeah, so any comments or anything you want to say about this case, or do you really think there was a Highgate Vampire, or do you believe Manchester Igor, or just any general thoughts that you guys have?
I think Manchester is 100% correct. I will follow him into the dark, like the song.
I will follow you.
Yep.
Siege, what do you think?
I just think the lore of vampires, and especially in England, I just think that's kind of interesting. So it's a cool story.
That's the thing. Like, I had like so much fun researching this and just learn about this, because I thought it was going to be about like a serial killer who just did some fucked up stuff.
That's kind of what I thought too, yeah.
This was like a fun one. I liked it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
When they interviewed people about it, that one video, the guy was like, heard they're starting up the Dawn Guard again.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
No, I think the whole thing could be explained merely by the prevalence of LSD in this time period.
Probably, yeah, absolutely.
Or whatever. You know, the human mind is a funny thing. Like, there are cases where there's like some Indian guru, like, mystical Buddhist guy, and they have like video of like one of his sessions.
Yeah.
There are various guys like this, and he'll like there's like thousands of people watching, and he'll tell them all that he's like levitating up above the stage, and if you look at the video, just like, no, he's not.
Yeah.
And those thousands of people, like a bunch of them will walk away, and they'll tell interviewers like, yeah, he levitated.
Holy shit.
Like, that's how into things people can get.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things are the priests that hit people.
Oh, I
and
know,
they say
they
they
think
heal.
they're
It's
healed.
so goddamn funny. I
dude.
want to be one of those guys.
Yeah, they speaking in tongues.
Oh, it's so fucking funny. They
dude,
like throw them off stage and shit. Oh,
dude,
it's funny.
I've been there for like one of those, and dude, I was so fucking terrified. Like, it was just scary. Like, why would you ever get up and do that? Fuck that.
There's one where someone edited in like Street Fighter music and like sound
God.
effects and shit.
That'd be
It's
amazing.
so fucking good.
That'd be amazing.
So, alrighty, I do want to have a couple things to say real quick. One, I want to thank everyone that has signed up for our Patreon. It's just incredible that you guys are helping support the show and making this thing work. And we really want to do more this year in regards to bonus shit. I mean, we've been putting up some stuff, but we want to put up a lot more stuff and get you guys some more bonus stuff for you. And as far as our honorary brother goes, we're only going to have 2 more honorary brothers, like today and then next week. As far as like the iTunes review goes, we'll still have honorary brother, but we'll probably just pick someone who like sends us an email or something on Twitter, because I don't know, I'm kind of tired of reading like negative reviews and shit on there. It's kind of getting old. Oh, and I do just want to say thank you to everyone that has taken time to leave us one. It actually helps us out a lot, and it means a lot to us. We'll probably never get on charts and on like anything, but maybe this year we will. Who knows? But we can't do that without people like you guys who are sending us stuff and subscribing and leaving reviews, and it really helps out a lot, and it's super cool. So, alrighty, here we go. Our honorary brother of the week by LOLOLOLizer. LOLOLizer. I don't know how to
Love
say
it. I love it.
He gave us 5 stars with the title Listen. And it says, "You're the reason I'm going to fail and drop out of high school. Your podcast is great, yada, yada, yada. Now listen. I've got some recommendations. Bring back subreddit of the week, or at least do r/incest relationships and read a few posts.
I don't want to. I really don't want to.
It's hilariously gross. Also, more Billy Madison jokes, more abduction cases, and then in parentheses, Amanda Berry specifically. Maybe do an episode where you read an Amazon book, maybe for Christmas or Hanukkah. More The Room references, more brother movies. They're my favorite. I'm going to fail and drop out. Hashtag toof. Hashtag Wildman.
Holy shit. I love a lot of that.
I love it all, dude.
Yeah,
It was
I agree.
good.
I agree with the more brother movies too, because I do love doing those.
Hell yeah.
Now, I'll probably cut out the whole rant about the negative review, but it
Leave it in.
did piss me off, because like I would, if it would have just said like, yeah, I don't like your podcast, I would have been happy with that. But the fact that they say we don't heavy research, or that there's too many hosts, there's never more than 4 people.
Yeah.
Like there was 5
We've had
people
5
on like
very
maybe
few.
4
Yeah,
episodes.
that was when we still had Andrew. And
Like-
a lot of times, too, couldn't come, stuff like that. So, yeah, there's never really been many more than 4.
There's almost 70 episodes. I'm pretty sure you can get a feel on like shit like that.
Absolutely. A lot of times it's just me, Spence, and Kev. Like that really a lot of the times.
So, alrighty, Spence, do you want to hit us with that closing shit, brother?
I don't wanna.
All right, everyone have a good night.
Thank you all for listening to another episode of the Brothers Commonplace. If you would like to talk to us, give us a little message, drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you. We love listening to what our fans have to say. You can check us out on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Snapchat. You can at least find Kevin on there. We have an email if you want to go old school.
Yes, thebrotherscommonplace@gmail.com.
Thebrotherscommonplace@gmail.com, as Kevin just said. And if you would like to support the podcast, one simple way you can do that is sign up on Patreon.
Nope, I'm sorry. It's just brotherscommonplace@gmail.com.
Correction. The email is brotherscommonplace@gmail.com. So get it right. Sign up for Patreon and you will get some bonus content, bonus episodes. We do reviews of terrible old horror movies, and sometimes we just bullshit, and they're pretty funny.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
If you can't spare the dough, we understand, but you could at least drop us a 5-star iTunes review. That's free. And those really help us out. They expose us to more people. So we love all of our fans, and we thank everyone for supporting us.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah, I just want to give a special thank you to everyone that is supporting us on Patreon, everyone that has left us an iTunes review. And like I said, we really want to try and make a bigger splash this year, so all those reviews really do help us out. It only takes a minute, and I understand it is kind of annoying if you don't want to, but if you do want to, it'll really, really help us out. And I do want to give a couple special shout-outs. One, to Emilio. He just had a birthday the other day.
Happy birthday, man.
So happy birthday to Emilio from The Last Bandoleros. And then also in The Last Bandoleros, the other half of the Bash Brothers, Diego, just got engaged.
Oh, hell yeah. Congrats, man.
So congrats, dude.
Shit, so he's off the market? Damn.
And then another shout out to, we have so many awesome listeners. I mailed stickers to, I think, 5 or 6 people the other day, so you should be getting those soon. And, everyone that's supporting and helping us out, that's super awesome. Christmas was great. We got presents from Heather Curley.
Heather Curley's the shit.
And Daniel from Australia.
Oh, God, Daniel, the wild man.
The wild man.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much, Heather Curley. Thank you very much, the wild man, Daniel from Australia. And also, special shout out to our new friend, the wild man from Queens, John.
Oh, hell yeah, John.
He's sending us some funny shit every day. I know I'm kind of slow to reply to everyone because I'm covering a lot of stuff at once as far as like social media and stuff, so it does take me a couple days to get back to you. But I do read them all. I just want to say thank you. But yeah, I got one from John to read, and it looks like it's pretty funny already. It's cracking me up, so it's good shit. And I see he sent me a video. I don't know what this is. Nasty Boys. Fuck yeah, this is a Nasty Boys video.
Hell yes.
Fuck, dude. Pit stop. Holy shit. Thank you, John. Fuck
Jesus.
yeah, dude.
We had to be reminded of these guys. I'm pretty sure they still wrestle.
Thank God I opened that. Yeah. All right, Tim, you're up, brother.
So I actually thought about this one. We kind of keep it quiet. You guys may not know, but there has been one of us missing for a little while. His name's Andrew. We never bring it up or anything. But, so, I had this idea, because, I'm sure you guys miss him, too. Leave us a 5-star review and just tell us what you think would bring Andrew back to the podcast. And Kev could show Andrew this, and we may be able to get him on the next episode. So, yeah, 5-star review, comment, let us know what you think would bring him back. And, that should be pretty fun.
The invitation's always open, man.
Yeah. So, I feel like, if these, the fans come up with something good, may come back on here.
Well, I just want to say thank you for joining us, Siege.
Thanks for having me, guys, and thanks for all the support, everyone.
Oh, yeah. We love having you, Siege.
Very nice to have you on episode 69.
And we're going to be doing a little bit more of that later.
Ooh. All right, so thank you, everyone, for listening. Be good.
Stay safe.
And laugh at the dark stuff.
Peace.
Hashtag Wildman, baby.
Hashtag Wildman.
Changing it up.
my bones. I can't find my bones.
I took your bones. They were in my stomach, 'cause I eat bones. Oh, and I pooped on my dog. And he ate biscotti and put it on his head, and then I pooped on him again.
Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive's Employee of the Month, 2 months in a row. Leave a message at the... Hi, Jamie. It's me, Jamie. I just had a new idea for our song about the Name Your Price tool. So when it's like, tell us what you want to pay, hey, 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 and the trombone goes, blah, 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 and you say, we'll help you find coverage options to fit your budget. Then we just all do finger snaps while a choir goes, savings coming at ya, savings coming at ya. Yes? No? Maybe? Anyway, see your practice tonight. I got new lyrics for the rap break.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
It's time to break the cycle of waste and mess. Time to stop accepting that the way things have been done are the way they should be done. Control-Alt-Delete everything you thought you knew about how to period. We're flipping the script, we're throwing out the book, we're challenging the period status quo. The Diva Cup is eco-friendly, reusable, and offers up to 12 hours leak-free protection. So what are you waiting for? Join the inner revolution with the Diva Cup. The Diva Cup is used for menstrual flow only. Always read and follow the user guide.